me, Lakshmi Baker, on another episode of In Person. And this week we're going to be speaking to a very, very interesting individual whose contributions in the area of developing and creating new treatments for diabetes has led him to become the first recipient of the Merdeka Award in Health, Sciences and Technology. Many feathers to his cap. I can't wait to interview him. Let's go and find out more. Hello, you're with me again, Lakshmi Baker, on In Person, and today we have the privilege of speaking to an individual who's made a monumental contribution in the field of diabetes in Malaysia and also in the area of stress and its relation to the human body. And this has led him to become the first recipient of the Merdeka Award in 2008, none other than Professor Dr. Khalid Abd Kadir. Prof, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
It's been 3 decades that you have dedicated your life to doing medicinal clinical research on endocrinology and the study of hormones and the human body's response to stress and diabetes. Tell us more about why this area of research, when did it start, and why the inspiration in this area?
Well, I was inspired by a professor in my undergraduate days in Monash University. With his knowledge and his ability to explain how hormones work, and also a very, very nice person. His name is Professor Pinker-Staff. So during my undergraduate years, I then took 1 year off and did pure research, and also won the Amsalgiri Award from Australia to do that research. That led me to understand more about medical science during my medical student days. From then on, I continued on with my medical course and graduated and became a doctor. And I thought I would like to follow the footsteps of Professor Pinker-Staff, be an endocrinologist, learn more about hormones, how it works, because they fascinate me. Because with hormones we know are the mechanisms by which the body can react and adapt to stress.
Right.
So that's my interest. And from then on, I went on to do a PhD in Monash there under Professor John Funder, and look at how stress works through the brain, through the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, produces hormones called endogenous morphins or endorphins and ACTH, which then act on the adrenal glands, and the adrenal glands then produces adrenaline, like and hit you, you suddenly get shocked. The adrenaline is produced as short-term response, and the other one would be steroid hormones, hormones which are produced during stress. And if you are stressed for a long time, then your steroid hormones will become more and more. And we do know that these hormones are the ways and mechanisms by which the body adapts to stress and maintain the hormonal milieu, so-called, maintain the homeostasis of the body.
Do you think hormones is the cause of most, or rather stress is the cause of most ailments these days? Does it begin with hormonal imbalance?
We cannot say that stress causes illness. Most of the illnesses in modern lifestyle, we don't have scientific evidence. As a scientist, you must always look at good clinical and scientific evidence. We do know that stress can cause some problems, such as if you're very stressed, you may not be able to sleep, your blood pressure may go up, your sugar may go up, so-called stress hyperglycemia. But that's only during the stressful period, and then it will go away, because the body has mechanisms to overcome the stress. Hormones, in a sense, produced in reaction to stress or lack of stress, to maintain ourselves to be so-called normal. Has it clinically been proven though that stress causes inflammation, which then in turn causes a lot of other ailments? There's only some hypothesis that stress may cause inflammation, and we do know that heart disease may be linked to chronic low-level stress, as measured by what we call highly sensitive C-reactive proteins. But the evidence for this is not really very good. So we need to have good evidence for everything we do. Some of the ways we treat illnesses in the past when I was a younger person are now proven to be wrong. And we don't do that anymore.
Constantly evolving things like this. You seem to put a lot of stress on proper scientific research and conclusions. What do you consider to be your most significant work thus far?
My significant work thus far, perhaps it was during my PhD days.
Right.
I did a PhD with John Funder, and unlike others, I was able to produce 19 publications in international journals from my PhD.
And this is the work right here?
Yeah, all these publications, which I think is quite a record.
It is a very thick book.
Usually when we get 2 or 3 publications per PhD thesis, but as you can see, up to 19. And I think all this is about molecular cellular endocrinology. Except for one where we were looking at patients who had got problems with steroid hormones in Australia. The rest were all the animal work, cellular work, looking at patients who are born without receptors to become males, so they are males but in genes, in terms of genes, but they are actually females like you. Or they have a hormonal disorder where the adrenals don't have sufficient enzyme, one specific genetic defect enzyme, then they become half male, half female.
So this study actually would explain the whole issue of transgender...
No, it doesn't explain the whole.
It doesn't.
We look at...
Is it true that in America you have to undergo certain tests before a person will be allowed to actually go through the go to transgender operations, but they have to pass certain hormonal...
I don't deal with transgender. I only deal with scientific basis of genetic abnormalities.
And this has got nothing to do
hormonal disorders causing either hypertension or high sugar, or in early part of my PhD, becoming half male, half female, or secreting too much salt, like cystic fibrosis. So that was using scientific methods which were possible in Australia. In Malaysia, when I came back here, we were not up to that level, so I had to then start looking at how stress affects the humans and rats in a more primitive way, rather than looking at the molecular genes, until I came back to develop perhaps a center like here in Monash.
So I'll consider this is the high, and after we come back, after this break, we're going to find out what are the lows in your career, the biggest challenges that you've actually faced, right after this break. You're still watching In Person, and this week we have the honor of talking to Professor Dr. Khalid, and he has told me that he's going to show me where he chills. So, Doctor, let's take a look at where you chill, and you actually say that you spend most of your time doing research and stuff like that, and I'm surprised that when asked where you spend your free time, it's in a place like this, so that means all your time is dedicated to mostly work. Is that true?
Well, I don't know what you mean by chill. During my time, there's no such a word as
There's no time for chill.
But what do we do, spare time? Well, I am a doctor. I am a practicing doctor. I spend a lot of time with my patients, looking after my patients in the clinics and in the wards. At the same time, I'm an academic. I have to teach. So sometimes I give lectures, but these days the students come with me wherever I go and see the patients. So what do I do for pastime? My hobby then is research. If you take research as a hobby and use it to help you advance your medical knowledge and medical practice, that's fantastic. So whenever I have a free time, I will arrange to have ability to chill out with my research colleagues, discuss about our research plans or the results of our research projects, and do hands-on research, if I can say so.
Before all that,
than just be a practitioner.
yeah, but before all that, Doctor, what was growing up like for you? You had a mom and dad who were prominent people, Tun Fatima and Khalid Abd Kadir. What was it like having strong personalities like that as parents, and does it have a lot to do with who you are today, you think?
I think so, because they invite in us the spirit of nationalism, socialism, the spirit of wanting to serve the people, the spirit of looking at others who are less fortunate than us. And I always remember, and I always quote to my friends, that when I ask my parents, why can't I do more and get more? And despite my academic prowess, when he said to me, Khalid, you're only looking at 3, 4, 5, 10 people above you. Look at the tens and thousands of people lesser fortunate than you, who may not have a full meal in a day. Think how fortunate you are that God given you what you are now today.
So did they plant the seed of becoming a doctor or scientist in you, or is it something that you wanted to do from the start, you think?
No, I wanted to be a person who can, what shall I say, serve the people. I was, in my day, in the 60s, a bit of a socialist. With my friends, and got inspired by people like Che Guevara in Vietnam. And like he said, nothing's impossible, so we can get things done. So, and Che was a doctor.
Right.
Came from a middle class family, upper middle class, and I thought, well, I would like to be like him. If I were a doctor, I can probably serve people better than being perhaps an engineer or something else.
Right.
But I didn't want to be a politician, perhaps because the parents were doing a good job out there.
Right.
There are other ways to serve the people.
Taking from the quote you live by, nothing is impossible. Has there been a low point in your life, and how has that changed who you are today?
Yeah, there were 2 occasions when I thought, what have I done that deserve this? One was in 91 when I found out I had leukemia, and yet I was spending my life teaching and helping lesser fortunate people. But it was not a very serious leukemia. I went to the States and they found that it was just a chronic leukemia, but eventually it would be nasty. So I grew out of that depression in a sense, or that low down, and said, well, if I'm going to have a certain number of life, I'm going to work harder and do more. And forgot all about it. Then in
That was in 1991, and something
then in May 2008, I started having a lot of chest pain, and I didn't know what was going on, and lost weight. And eventually, cut a long story short, in 16th of September 2008, I found I had advanced cancer of the lymphoid cells. The leukemia had transformed into a lymphoma all over the body. That was why I lost 13-14 kilos and had a lot of pain. And usually it's a fatal illness.
Yeah.
But I went back to the hospital where I trained people, and went back to my fellow students who are now specialists in their own rights, and they looked after me and brought me back to life. I had chemotherapy, I had stem cell transplant, which was not possible in 91, 90, and yet now it's done in Malaysia, in hospital UKM, by my former students whom I used to teach. So that shows to you that Malaysian medicine is just as good as anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
How do we prove that?
Yeah.
I'm still alive, man.
So you're free of cancer now?
So far, yeah.
So far. And we've achieved this much already, Doctor. Is there anything else that is in your bucket list of researches or anything else to attain that you haven't yet done and that you must do before you call it a day?
Yes, I just told my wife that in August, with my younger brother Ali, Dr. Ali, we will go to see the Himalayas. I want to see the Himalayas before I pass away, because let's be frank, this illness I have is not going to be in remission forever. Then I was hoping I could go to see Alaska and see the glaciers there, and with my brothers fish for salmon in Alaska.
This has been inspired by a movie.
No, because we all love fishing.
Okay.
We just came back from fishing before.
Okay.
And things that I have not seen before. I've been to London, Paris, and all these places. One church, one castle is the same as the other, and it all glorifies the bourgeois, isn't it?
Right.
I will tell you about the poor people. So, but I'm inspired. I would like to see things which God has created we've never seen. So the other place I would like to see is in the Antarctica, if I can. And forget about research, forget about medicine for a while, and see what.
You love your fishing. What else do you like besides fishing? I hear from the grapevine that you're a bit of a rock star inside there. So
yes, of course. Earlier in the 60s and 70s, we have rock music. Of course, Rolling Stones and NG and the Beatles, and later on the Scorpions, Guns N' Roses. But now, later on, after I became better from my illness, I came back to this building and I heard the song Hello, Hello, Hello by Beyonce.
Oh, yeah.
There's a song by Beyonce about If I Were a Man. And then I learned about YouTube and how I could actually see people singing, which I didn't know about. And then now I'm very much into Monroe Bass.
You know your pop music.
No, this music.
Is it something new or something from the 50s, 60s?
No, I'm talking about latest music, but Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars, okay. All right, after this break, I'm going to get Dr. Khalid to sing a little bit of Bruno Mars.
Oh, no, I can't.
There is a musician in him, there is a singer in him. So let's see if we can actually get him to sing a little bit. Right after this break, I'm sure you can. Hi, you're still watching In Person with me, Lakshmi Baker, and we're still talking to Professor Dr. Khalid. Duck, as in, you have a fascination with ducks. But before that, you promised to sing for us Bruno Mars, right? Are you going to sing?
I said to you just now.
Oh, did you? Can you do it one more time?
Oh, well, as I said to Kala when I came in, today I feel like not doing
anything. Now, you can actually believe that a person like this, a professor, would actually not want to do anything, because when I asked him what he does to chill, he brought me to a lab. Anyways, doctor, you have this fascination with ducks. Why ducks?
Well, because they seem to be able to migrate great distances from summer to winter, winter back to summer, and that fascinates me. How a small animal like that with small wings can fly thousands of kilometers from one continent to the other.
Great. Okay, I want to get to know the person. I don't think I'll have the opportunity, but explain to me, who is Khalid the father, Khalid the hubby, Khalid the friend, like? And how do you manage all these different roles with being a professor, a teacher? First, tell me, how is Khalid the friend like? Maybe you should ask us, start with this question.
I feel very fortunate actually, and I think Professor Dr. Khalid, or Professor Emeritus Khalid, is a unique individual. He is not only very, very good as a clinician, but is also, to my mind, an excellent researcher and scientist. And we have worked together since 2009, especially looking at the health problems in Malaysia and pertaining to Orang Asli or indigenous communities. We feel we have to address this gap in the Malaysian healthcare scenario.
Wow, Dr. Khalid, I'm just recently been with him for over 1.5 years.
Okay.
And during this 1.5 years, I think he's a very good mentor, a loyal friend, and then after that he's a very, very good in pushing me to the limits, which in the beginning I didn't know that I have the abilities to achieve that goal.
But I think I'm a very loyal friend.
Okay.
I don't think I have many enemies. I hope I don't have any. Father, I think I'm a pure father.
Okay.
I spend enough time with them.
Any regrets because of that? They say you have to choose one.
Well, I think they accepted as my our way of life as a doctor, and that they will see us when they see us.
Right.
And in a sense, that's what happened to us with our parents. We were very busy with their work, and we would see them when we see them. But whatever time we have with each other, it's always good quality time. So we make it a tradition from my father's time that once during the midterm school holidays we would be together. Those days it was May, June, I think. And again at the end of the year, the long school holidays, we'd always get together, the so-called Kadi Fatima retreat, and all of us would get together, and up to now we still do that.
So is it safe for me to say that in your lifetime you have spent most of it with work rather than with, say, family or friends, or doing just spending time with your, doing hobbies? It's been more work than anything else. Is it safe for me to say that?
You're putting words in my mouth.
What do you think though?
I enjoy what I'm doing. Keep telling my wife that.
Okay.
I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I enjoy feeling that I'm doing something useful.
Right. So for someone who wants to be like you, what would be your advice? Knowing that this is the amount of sacrifice that we've had to put in, what would be your advice to a young researcher out there who aspires to be like you? An honest...
I'm not really a researcher, right?
Okay.
A doctor.
Right.
Specialist endocrinologist.
With everything that you do.
Who does research. Basic research and applied research, like here, and also epidemiological research.
Right.
Who has to teach, who has to publish.
It's a lot.
And who also has to contribute towards the medical fraternity in the past. I was in the Malaysian Medical Association, the Persatuan Diabetes Malaysia, the Academy of Medicine, and so on. So, if you say, if someone wants to aspire to be like me, I think he will be an idiot. He should either
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He should really be a clinician, or just be a researcher, or just be an administrator.
Okay.
But if he really wants to be like us, then he will. There are a few out there who are like me, who does clinical research, who does clinical work. And I can quote, for example, Professor K. Aggo in Mr. Malaya, and those colleagues of his in Mr. Malaya, Professor Raymond Ali in UKM, the dean there now, and his colleagues there. So there are a number of people who are academically inclined. Academically inclined, meaning they are academic doctors. That's what we are. But there are others who just want to be a clinician, and that's what they are.
Okay, if you made a movie about your life, what would it be about, and which actor would you want to play you?
A movie about my life would be very dull. I'm a very dull person.
You actually think you're dull?
Yeah.
Okay. But if there was an actor you had to pick to depict your character.
I don't watch movies, man.
You don't watch? Oh gosh, you don't have time for movies too. Alright, moving forward, as promised, you said that you're going to take us to your labs and see what you're doing with the rats. So I'm really, really curious to see what's going to be happening in that area of this amazing Monash University Center. So let's go see.
Child, so there are lots of these. Each one is given the